"Becca, come quick. Look what I got for Christmas." Sighing, Becca trudged the rest of the way to the bus stop, bracing herself for Katie's inevitable bragging. It was practically a holiday tradition. "It's a Disby," Katie explained, holding out the doll for Becca to see. "She got 2 outfits and a necklace. The necklace has a peridot. That's my birthstone." Of course, the explanation wasn't necessary. Disby girl dolls were the hottest toy of the year. Becca had faintly hoped to get one for Christmas, but at $120, they were well outside a family budget. In the end, she'd receive a second-hand Barbie vacation set instead. "It's okay," Becca said, looking away. Katie snorted. "She's perfect. I love her." Then, a smug smile curving her lips, she asked, "What did you get?" Becca didn't sleep well that night, unable to rid Katie's terrible grin from her thoughts. It wasn't fair. Christmas was always better for Katie. Katie's gifts were new, while Becca's were used. Katie got the latest and greatest, while Becca was lucky to get something popular last year. And why? Because Katie's dad wore a suit to work, while Becca's took extra night shifts at Walgreens. If she never heard Katie's voice again, Becca decided that was fine with her. The next morning, Becca waited with clenched teeth for Katie to appear at the bus stop with that stupid doll. She waited and waited until the bus finally came. Katie never showed up. Kaylee wasn't at school either. It was strange. She hadn't seemed sick yesterday, and she definitely wasn't on vacation. She would have gloated about it for months. Though still angry, Becca felt a twinge of worry. A second day passed, a third. Katie was nowhere to be found. Then, suddenly, she was everywhere. Katie smiled from newspapers at the back of milk cartons. She was even on TV. Becca watched one night as a well-scrabbled news anchor pointed out her yearbook photo and called her the latest in a string of missing girls in the Skagit County area. He promised more details at 11, but that was past Becca's bedtime. That night, Becca sobbed into her pillow. Why had she wished Katie gone? Rationally, she knew she hadn't caused her disappearance, but she'd wanted it. Wasn't that almost as bad? She was crying so intently that she didn't notice her father enter the room. "Oh, sweetie," he whispered, sitting at the edge of the bed. When Becca looked up, she was surprised to see he was smiling. "I was saving this for your birthday, but..." He placed something on the pillow in front of her. It was a doll, a Disby girl doll. Becca gasped. It was perfect. Well, it was clearly used, as all her dolls were, but it was still beautiful. The only problem is that it had the wrong birthstone. It looked like what had Katie called it? A peridot. Mom says you have to believe in Santa if you want presents on Christmas. Sometimes I find this hard to do, like when I see Santa at the mall and he looks different from the Santa I saw last year. If I mention this to my mom, she tells me never to talk about that. She says if I do, I won't get presents on Christmas. She told me always assume that it's just Santa's magic at work. Last Christmas, I took my little sister to the park. I had snowball fights with my friends while she built a snowman. We saw Santa at the park that day. He came over and handed each of us a little unwrapped present. He told us that we were good boys and girls. He told my sister that her present was in his sleigh because it was too big to carry. My sister went with him, but she never came back. The police officers asked us so many questions, but we all insisted it was just Santa, big, jolly and red. That was all we knew. I got so many presents that year, more than usual. I'm so glad I didn't tell anyone that Santa looked a lot like our neighbor, Mr. Wilkins. And I'm glad I didn't tell them I saw my sister get into his blue pickup truck instead of his sleigh. Mom says never to talk about that stuff, that it's just Santa's magic at work. And she says you have to believe in Santa if you want presents on Christmas.